I love that David E. Kelly has Nicole Kidman on speed dial and says, "Hey, doing a broken, battered housewife. You want in? Yeah, I do. All right, I'm doing a broken, battered housewife. You want in? Yeah. Okay, look, you've done the broken, battered housewife thing twice. Hear me out. Russian? Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell below. Anytime you have something, you'll be the first to know. So Hulu got a new miniseries produced by David E. Kelly, who's been living in the HBO world with his muse Nicole Kidman, and now is bringing that over to Hulu in this Who's Who All Star cast, if you will, called Nine Perfect Strangers. Based on a book of the same name with some changes here and there. I've not read the book, so if any of the book readers are watching, my apologies. I am not basing it on the book, but I do know that there have been some stark differences already. Hulu released the first three episodes at once, so this one video is going to be about three episodes, where the rest of the time we'll talk about one episode at a time. So my immediate thoughts, or just quick thoughts on the series, is that it does not have the same hook or draw or pull that either The Undoing or Big Little Lies had. That is not to say that it is good, but I'm being facetious a little bit in the cold open, but between the shows that David E. and Nicole have done, this is probably right now at the bottom, just off the start. But I do think there's a lot of groundwork being laid that could build to something that is pretty impactful in the back end. These first three episodes are mainly built to sort of establish characters, and I think that's why they gave us these three together. We don't really get too much into the muck of what exactly is happening at this wellness retreat, although whatever it is happening, it is not what it perceives itself to be or pretends itself to be on the surface. There's a lot of crazy things happening on in the background, and I won't really get into spoilers this episode to give enough people to kind of watch all three to catch up. But there's a pretty good uh, amount of sprinkling in hints of something seedy happening without really kind of beating you over the head or giving you too much at once. Although I really wish I had a little bit more. They treat Nicole Kidman's character Masha as this deity force almost, and then you spend an episode or two sort of getting a little bit behind to how she got to the point that she is, and there's a lot of stones between who she was and who she is that are just they don't add up yet. So I need an episode to kind of just deal with her before we kind of deal with us. The problem with a show like this is that it's saying nine perfect strangers, but there's actually about 10, 12, 13 once you do Masha and her help. You're dealing with these groups of people, and they all have sort of a story and a backstory. And for the purposes of this, all of them have been picked by Masha, is what we're led to believe, that they've all been picked for a purpose that sort of intertwines them. Um, and so it is going to take a little bit of time to peel back the onions of each one. So we're taking almost an episode per person, and some go across. Like Bobby Cannavale's character gets peeled back throughout, but the third episode of these first three definitely deals with Michael Shannon and his family, and has a fantastic monologue at the very end of this, and a great reveal. But it's just a lot of character moments that I hope in a 10 series arc that once we get past the first five episodes, we've dealt with all the character development. We can start throwing them muck at them and kind of one upping it, because it just moves a little bit of a slower pace and not as. It almost feels sort of soapy. It feels very soap opery, whereas I think because they're on HBO Max and it just felt different. The Undoing and um, Big Little Lies felt a lot more as if I'm watching a drama. This feels a lot more like I'm watching a soap opera, like a nighttime soap opera in a miniseries form. And it's a small distinct difference. And one's not better or than the other, but that your level of enjoyment for what you like depends on how much you kind of get into this. The characters in this are pretty good, though. I would say that for me so far, the standout has been Samara Weaving, and to a lesser extent Melvin Manboy, for those who watch Snowfall. But Samara's Jessica is has been the standout for me because there's just a lot happening in just her eyes, and she looks pretty much unrecognizable. If you did not know that there was Samara Weaving, and you have moments where you can see her eyes, her face is sort of pulled back. She's wearing these. Anybody who can act with veneers like that in her mouth is doing phenomenal because this is the sweet spot. This whole face is the sweet spot, but like if your mouth can't move the way that you're used to moving it, um, that's a lot. And I think she still manages to do that. Her body has been amped up and done things too. So and it really Jessica has the one that I felt the most connection to as this was going on, and because she's sort of dealing with real world, she's an Instagram influencer, but all that's a bed of lies. And I think that's sort of the premise for everybody. Everybody's putting on this facade of being okay or that they're dealing in whatever way that they can, whether it be drugs, whether it be Instagram fame, whether it be just shutting off. And the big reveal of all of this, or the big thing that Masha's trying to do, is sort of get everybody to kind of let it all out. Like once you purge all of that, you might be in a better place and can kind of start dealing on the healing. But whatever the hell she got going on, ain't on the up and up because she's doing things to these folks she's sort of puppeteering and puppet these folks to put them in places, put them in situations, put them at a altered or heightened state that whatever it is she's actually trying to do for all of them, we're in the process of finding out as a viewer. But I think some of these people, as you'll see in the last episode, some of these people on this group are too smart to not be aware. And they've been saying, Tiffany Boone, one of her helpers, that team has been saying that this group feels different than the other groups that we have had. So clearly they've done this before. There's been some success. They don't have any ads, any web presence, any of that. They're strictly going off of word of mouth. So how does that word of something has to leak out or somebody has to escape? So they're not killing these people, or at least not all of them, but something has to escape enough to still get the word out there to bring others folks in and what it is she's getting from them. It's going to be the sort of the bread and butter. Like I hope it's not something too cheesy or too silly. I don't know if she's trying to live off the Fountain of Youth. Who knows? But she's watching these folks. She has security cameras on. When she's not in her like, I'm the richest Russian of all time. When she's not in that mood, he's watching them on television, and that is sort of what we get. We're dealing with everybody who's got problems with dealing with a loss of suicide member. We've got body issues. We've got not feeling worthy of the life that you've now obtained, having once been at the mountaintop and now losing it all and kind of having to start over. That's sort of all in play here. And so it's a fascinating, like the weirdness or whatever it is Masha is going through so far is less interesting to me than the revelations that these characters have to go through to sort of unearth their true essence. All that said, I think the first 3 episodes are good. Not great. This isn't one of those ones that I think is like a rocket that's going to take off. Like, oh, you watching The Undoing, or you watching Big Little Lies, or White Lotus, which I didn't watch, but I'm going to because everybody says I should. I don't think it's there. This is solid. Doesn't mean it can't get there, but usually that type of fervor happens within these first 3 episodes, and I think these first 3 episodes don't hit the way that I think that they're intending to. It's good, and I think it's good not really so much on the story or the reveals of the story. It's good because of the cast and the acting that is happening. I didn't really speak on Luke Evans. Luke Evans is sort of the dark horse of all of this. He is what we are believed to be a gay man, but he's giving me off some vibes that I don't know if he might be on the sexual spectrum. But whatever he's doing, he is not. He is more aware of what's happening in this place than anyone else is. He's trying to kind of call them out on it, and he's placing things here and there. He's pushing back more than I think anyone else. The only one I don't think I've spoken on is Regina Hall as Carmel. I can't quite get a read on her. There is some very underlying anger with her, and she seems to have a very close tie to her kids. And anytime someone pushes back on her giving up her life, for kids or that feels like anything like that. She has weight issues. I think she seems to be the most likely to snap. She even has a moment that she does, but I think she can get stronger than that. So she's sort of the dark horse where I think she can just go batshit crazy, and I feel like it's going to happen. I don't know what the genre is. Like I've not, like I said at the beginning, I have not read the book, so I don't know what the genre is. So I don't know if this becomes a murder mystery. I don't know if this becomes sci-fi. I don't know. Um, I'd say it probably has about, for me, it has about two more episodes before I need an answer one way or the other. Right now, this is getting by solely on the performances, and I don't know how much longer it can do that before it needs to give me something else to bite into to stick along. But what did you guys think about the first three episodes of Nine Perfect Strangers? This will be a series that I follow along week to week, so from this point on, I will be getting spoilery with each episode that we sort of discuss and talk about, and hopefully something sort of picks up that we can get a little bit more to chew on. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name that's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. We're currently doing a run of Marvel pair ups with our guest host Jamie Jurek, where we're talking about taking an episode of What If and pairing that with a non canon MCU old school film and seeing what worked, how we've grown, and all that good stuff. But you can find that here on YouTube and also anywhere else that podcasts are played. But like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.